Okay, everyone, good afternoon. Hello, hello. Welcome to our
Good
session
afternoon
today.
po.
As we always do, we start on time. Actually, it's not yet time. It's only 2:57, but I'd like to take advantage of this 2 minutes before the actual start to right away make the announcement about where to get the handouts, as well as the PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to use today, as well as the presentation that was used yesterday, and a lot of books, materials for our sessions. Okay, and it's written here in the chat box, facebook.com/groups/schools of character. Okay. So if you go to Facebook and you type in the search box schools of character, groups, or groups, schools of character, you will most likely see our page. You're going to see the poster, better teachers, better schools, and join that group, and once you're inside the group, you can access so many fantastic materials that can be very useful for you, related to the session today, as well as the session yesterday and the sessions this coming 3 days. Okay, so again, that is facebook.com/groups/schools of character. Okay, well, it's 2:59. We already have 59 of us in the room. Yesterday, there were 105 in the session. And I know there are fewer who registered for the session today. I think one is because many people think there's no bullying happening in their school, so they don't need this session. But as you're going to see, it's more than just um, stopping bullying. It's more than just addressing bullying. It's preventing bullying through character formation. A lot of strategies I'll be sharing with you that you can use inside your classroom, in your school, that hopefully will be able to address the issue of bullying. Okay, well, it's 3 o'clock, and I would like to begin this session. First, let's give a warm welcome to everyone, those who have been posting here from Santo Niño High School of Gitagum. Hello, welcome. From St. Paul Association, ZMI. Okay, hello, welcome. From St. Paul University San Miguel. Okay, so that's the one. De La Salle University Integrated School. Hello. I also saw you yesterday, sir. Thank you for joining us. Um, from Bangkal High School, SDO, Makati City. Great. And we have people from Pangasinan, Lingayen, Dagupan. We have our friends from Cebu, San Mateo Rizal. Hello, welcome. From Pasig, from Manila, St. Paul University. Welcome. From Santo Tomas Catholic School. Thank you very much for joining us. Great. Okay, well, I would like to begin. We'll read more others who are just posting now. We will begin. I think it's appropriate that we start with this prayer, a prayer that was written by Saint Ignatius of Loyola, the prayer for. Okay, well, that's a good way of starting our session today, asking our Lord for generosity. Because as you are going to see today, my dear fellow teachers, there is a need to really work and work very hard to prevent bullying, which is becoming a bigger problem in many places. No, it's not just happening in your school; it's happening everywhere, all over the world. Sabi ng research, this generation of young people today have the lowest empathy ever in the history of mankind. This is a generation where empathy is one of their weakest points. being able to feel for other people. And as a consequence of that, bullying has become a problem in many places. That's why I'm going to share with you many, very many strategies. I suggest you take down notes because after this 1.5, 2 hour presentation, your problem is where to begin with so many strategies, very practical things I'm going to share with you. And you don't have to do all of them. You can start with a few, and many of them have been tried and tested by master teachers like you. Okay, well, before we proceed, again, let's welcome from St. Matthew College, San Mateo Rizal, welcome. From Mary Help of Christians Catholic School, hello. Urbistondo Catholic School, good afternoon. St. Columban's College, welcome po. Thank you for joining us. From St. Joseph Institute, Candon, hello. St. John's Cathedral School, Nazarene, Jesus the Nazarene Academy of Binmale. We have a very big group from a big group of friends from Pangasinan. Um, St. Paul Academy, Goa, Camarines Sur. Hello, good afternoon, welcome. Uh, Great, and of course, I mentioned earlier, St. Paul University of Quezon City, St. Anthony Parish School of Manticao. Hello, Santo Tomas Catholic School from Bayambang. St. Vincent's Catholic School of Bayambang from Davao City. Hello. Miss Maria Ana Fe has been with us since yesterday. Okay, well, great. I don't want to waste more time. I want to get straight into our presentation. This is going to be the main source of the ideas, strategies, methods I'm going to share with you from Dr. Michelle Borba, who wrote this fantastic book, The Essential Six of Bullying Prevention. Okay, and of course, 6 R's. I'm sure all of you right away are thinking, ano yun? Ano yung 6 R's na yun? Well, I won't waste your time. I will give them to you right away. But first, a brief introduction about Dr. Michelle Borba. I have brought her to the Philippines 5 times, and I'm bringing her back for a virtual conference this coming April, and she is going to talk about how to raise mentally healthy kids during troubled times like what we are living in right now. She wrote 27 best-selling books on character formation. And her latest book is precisely entitled that Thrivers, The Secret of Kids Succeeding Even During Troubled Times. So what are the 6 essential R's? I'm trying to locate this manual. It's actually just a 27-page handbook that goes with a thicker book, but I hope to be able to share this with you in the Facebook page that I announced earlier. I noticed some of you right away went to the Facebook page and asked to be admitted. Okay, I have admitted a number already. I will admit the others later on. So then, here are the 6 R's, the essential 6 R's if we are to prevent bullying. Not just put out the fire, not just solve the crisis of bullying, but to prevent bullying. Okay, here are the 6 R's. I'll share them with you now. First, make sure rules are clear. That's the first R. You have to have rules in school about bullying and that you do not accept it. Number 2, you need to teach students, teachers, as well as parents, and let me include the ladies selling in the cafeteria, the school bus driver, manong security guard at the gate. All of them have to be taught how to recognize bullying. And then it has to be very clear to everyone how to go about reporting bullying when they witness it, when they see it, when they are bystanders and they witness bullying. People should know how to go about reporting. Si Manong security guard, for example, should know sino ang kailangan kausapin niya pag meron siyang nakita isang bata na tinutulak-tulak ng kanyang mga classmates doon sa labas ng gate. That's bullying. And yeah, even if it is outside the gate of the school, the people involved are students of our school. That is part of school premises still. And we still have to do something about it. And security guard should know, whom does he talk to? The guidance, the principal, there should be very clear procedure in your school. If you are to prevent bullying, everyone should know how to go about reporting or responding to bullying. Students should know how to respond to bullying. That it's not appropriate to simply respond with another form of bullying by punching, by kicking, by hurting and harming. Sure, they were hurt, they were harmed, but they cannot respond in the same way, with the same kind of violent attitude. They should be taught how to respond. Or the bystanders. Sabi nila, if people know how to respond when they witness bullying, it can be nipped in the bud. It can be stopped. And then number 5, the 5th essential R, we've got to get everyone, students, teachers, parents, co-curricular teachers, extracurricular coaches, for example, they too should be made to refuse bullying, that they do not accept bullying happening in their classroom, in their football field, in the gymnasium, at the back of the cafeteria, inside the cafeteria, in the library. Everyone in our school should be made to refuse bullying. And of course, it's not enough to refuse. We have to replace. That's why we are talking about preventing bullying. Even before bullying happens, we have to put in values, beliefs, behaviors that run counter to bullying. And I'm going to share many of those strategies with you. Great. So let's try to have a deep understanding, a deeper appreciation of the need to prevent bullying and to fight against bullying. Here, any failure to treat bullying, abuse, and violence seriously, because it occurs between students within schools, is a violation of a child's human rights. We have to accept this, that if a student feels he is being bullied, that he is afraid to go to school, uh, and parents afraid that their son, their daughter is suffering in silence, and we don't do anything about it, we are violating a child's human rights. So we have to do something. We have to react, because no one, absolutely no one, has the right to take someone's happiness away. And mind you, it is happening in many places. It may be happening in your school. And this seminar today is our way of telling those victims, kapit ka lang. Gagawa natin ang paraan yan. Because no one has the right to take away your happiness. No one, absolutely no one, should have to suffer in silence, which is happening many times because of bullying. I'm sure you, my dear fellow teachers, you yourself may have experienced, witnessed, personally underwent a certain form of bullying in your life. And we look back and some of us perhaps are still with a certain scar inside us, a certain hurt that never disappeared because of that experience. Now, again, we repeat, no one has the right to take someone's happiness away. Well, for those of you who are first time to join me in this session, You may not have been there yesterday or last January in the 5-day series that I run in the first week of January. Just allow me to introduce myself very briefly. My name is Mann Rentoy. I have been a teacher for 34 years. I served as principal in Southridge, all boys school in Alabang, intermediate school. And then I also served as principal of high school. And I founded a school in Iloilo City called Paref West Bridge School. It's an all boys school. And it's now one of the top schools in Region 6. And the last 11 years, I have been spending my time reaching out to fellow teachers like you and parents and community leaders championing character formation, trying to remind everyone, let us make character formation a top priority because that's where the crisis is right now. That's where the problem is right now. I mean, if there is anything we should do to improve society, the world, it's forming the character, especially of the young people today who are different. I mean, really, the sabi ng research, the young people today, this generation of young people today, um, has lowest empathy ever recorded and highest level of pride, vanity, selfishness, self-centeredness. Selfishness. Itong selfie mindset, yung letting the world know your outfit of the day, letting the world know how you woke up in the morning, woke up like this. I mean, all these are forms of vanity. I mean, and this is happening. This is what is happening among the young people today. And a consequence of this is bullying is at its worst also. Cyberbullying or school bullying, in-campus bullying. Sure, walang face-to-face classes these days, but cyberbullying can be happening. It's very easy to spot. You go to Facebook, you go to Twitter, you go to Instagram, and sometimes comments of classmates that are harmful, hurtful, that insult another person. And yet, for them, it's nothing. That's just the way they do things. That's just the way they call each other. But that is cyberbullying already. They don't know that this girl is already thinking of suicide, is already scarred for the rest of her life about her looks, about her fashion sense, about her cyberbullying is a problem. Dati wala tayong problemang ano no, ganyan. I mean hindi natin pinoproblema yung cyberbullying. We didn't have it in our school manual. Some schools don't have it yet in their school manual, but you need to, especially because of that Anti-Bully Act of 2009 or 2014, I think. There was a law that was passed requiring all schools to come up with bully prevention program. And 2015, I found myself going around the Philippines, reaching out to teachers, sharing with administrators on how to go about designing a bully prevention program. And many of them we're going to take a look at this afternoon. Sabi nitong nanay na to, it's very painful to read something like this. Children remind me of chickens seeking out the weak and wounded and pecking them to death. They have discovered that my 9-year-old son, who is autistic, is bothered by loud noises, and they scream and whistle in his ear until he cries. Think about it. There are parents who suffer in silence for their children. Kasi alam nila ang telltale signs when their son, when their beloved daughter is hurting, is suffering, is being bullied. They can sense it. They know when their child is going through tough times. And the parents suffer a lot because of that. When students are victims of peer cruelty, it interferes with their learning. Grades start going down. It disrupts their social and moral development. It makes school a miserable experience. It causes some to seek revenge, and it causes others to become depressed and even suicidal. This is a reality. This is a problem. Sabi nitong babae, bago siya nagpakamatay, sabi niya sa kanyang suicide note, "All my life I have been teased. I love you very much, but I just couldn't stand it anymore." Sabi ng grade 8 student in her suicide note to her parents. So, in the US, sayang dito sa Pilipinas, we have very little study, we have very little research. We need more people spending time looking into the situation of bullying in our country. Each year in the US, 14% of US high school students seriously consider suicide. Victims and perpetrators of bullying are both at higher risk of depression and suicide. And the effects of chronic bullying can persist into adulthood. And that's what we have seen. It leaves a scar. And some of these scars remain for the rest of their life. Now, I am not just talking about the US. We are not just referring here to cases sa United States. Sure, sa US, it's almost like a pandemic. This thing of bullying, suicide, suicide has become now one of the top 5. In fact, I think it's number 2 now. Causes of death. It's absurd. It's very painful. Why is it happening? And here in the Philippines, look at that headline, DepEd grieves death of student suicide victim. Another article, bullying blamed for Batangas teenager suicide. And then in the US, cyberbullying pushes 12-year-old Phil-Am to commit suicide. We're not just talking here of sample cases. These are happening. These things are happening. In the US, 2/3 of the student shooters, yung mga Columbine shooting, massacre, Virginia Tech shooting, 2/3 of those had been bullied by fellow students. So may correlation itong bullying and then violence acted out by the persons, by the victims as a way of getting back, or simply because they developed it as a reaction, as a way of reacting to things. By adulthood, sabi ng research, 60% of school bullies will have a criminal conviction. The educational cause of bullying. Peer exclusion in kindergarten is associated with lower academic achievement in later grades. Later on, we're going to see that is a form of bullying. Yung hindi siya pinapansin, yung sasabihin ng mga kaibigan, oops, andito na si Joanna, huwag niyong pansinin na. And then, magsasama-sama yung mga barkada to isolate the person. That's a bullying. That's a form of bullying. And it happens. It happens. Even observing someone else being bullied can lower a student's academic performance. Think about that. Even the bystanders, hindi sila binubully, pero they witness bullying being done, they too can get affected, can lower their academic performance. So then, let me immediately tell you, we want to succeed in this, okay? And there are 3 secrets to success in having a good bully prevention program. In preventing bullying, involve the staff, involve the students, involve the parents, and you stand a bigger chance of succeeding in preventing bullying. Okay? I repeat, involve the staff. And when I say staff, I said already earlier, kasama si Manang Linda sa cafeteria na nagtitinda. Kasama siya. She should also be involved in preventing bullying. Kasama si Manong Alfredo, the security guard. Kasama siya. He should be also made to get involved in preventing bullying. And then, problema raw ito ng mga estudyante. Let the students take charge of preventing bullying. I mean, make them part of the solution. They should not just be the problem. They should be part of the solution. And I'm going to share with you many strategies that will involve the students. And then parent involvement. Please make sure the parents know what the school policies are regarding bullying, what the school is doing to prevent bullying, and therefore what we expect the parents to also do at home. Sabi nila, ganyan yung batang yan kasi sa bahay. Nakukuha niya yan sa tatay niya, sa nanay niya. Okay, then we need to involve the nanay and the tatay in preventing bullying. We have to find ways to get them to collaborate with us. So then, parents and cyberbullying, send home guidelines to help parents monitor kids' online activity. Oo nga naman, kasi cyberbullying, ibig sabihin, cyber online bullying. Sa bahay naman nangyayari yon. Sa bahay, nag-access ang bata ng internet. And dun niya, binabash yung classmate. Dun siya sa bahay, gumagawa ng fake Facebook account to use against a classmate. To put to shame a teacher. I mean, we have seen this happen, right? We know what is happening. So, kailangan ang parents are involved, therefore. Now, some schools will deny. Okay? Some schools, I have spoken to more than 60,000 teachers all over the Philippines. I've visited more than 100 schools for seminars, for talks to parents, to teachers, to students. And many schools will tell you, sir, dito sa eskwelahan namin, wala kaming problema with bullying. Really? If I call all the students to an assembly, and then I just ask this question, raise your hand if your answer is yes. Have you ever been a victim at this school of someone bullying you? Chances are you will have hands going up. Is bullying a problem at this school? A few hands may go up. Do you feel safe going to this school? No. Raise your hand if your answer is no, you don't feel safe. And chances are you're going to see a few hands going up. It's enough to just ask questions like this, and immediately you will have a feel, a sense, a certain idea of how things are going in your school. And chances are you will end up thinking, we really need to do something to make sure bullying doesn't happen. Okay, maybe your school is a school of character. Fantastic. Your school is a kindness zone. Very good. And I'm so excited to be able to visit your school. How do we then make sure in that kindness zone, bullying will never, ever be able to enter? Well, we have to still have strategies. And I'm going to share many of those with you. Children who bully are learning to use power and aggression to control and distress others. Children who are victimized become increasingly powerless and unable to defend themselves from this peer abuse. So, bullying is a power play. The victim most likely cannot even fight back, fight for his right, precisely because that's the idea with bullying. You put down someone, and he or she should never be able to get back at you. Otherwise, that's not bullying anymore. So, may power play. Kaya it's very important that we nip it in the bud. Okay? So, this book of Dr. Borba goes through the different forms of bullying. And it usually starts with social banter. Yung ano lang, yung parang nagjo-joke lang, ayan. Yung parang nagkukunyari lang na putting down. Hindi pa seryosong talagang hurting another person. Th- That's how it usually starts. And then it can graduate into hurtful teasing. And then it can proceed to mean, subtle body language. And then it can it can become physical, aggressive physical behaviors like pushing, shoving, kicking. And then it can also be malicious gossip, which sometimes can be more hurtful, which sometimes is the reason why the student doesn't like to go to school anymore. Kasi pinagchichismisan siya ng kanyang mga classmate. Kasi yung kanyang kaaway na classmate nag-iimbento ng kasinungalingan tungkol sa kanya. And ang kanyang reputation has been tainted, scarred, harmed. So it can proceed to malicious gossip, which can be online, in chat rooms, or even face to face, or behind her back, sexual, gender, racist, religious harassment, social exclusion, mobbing, hazing, extortion or bribery, phone or cyber abuse, damage to property, physical violence, use of weapons, criminal act, and even murder. I'm sure many of you may even have watched that Netflix series, 13 Reasons Why. 13 Reasons Why She Committed Suicide. 13 Reasons Why her life ended up to be that way. And it's very painful to see so many people responsible to drive someone to suicide, to depression. Bully, okay, well, let's read this highlighted. No student should be afraid of going to school for fear of being harassed or degraded, and no parent should need to worry about such things happening to his or her child. Let me, inform you that Dan Olweyus is probably the number one authority on scientific explanation of bullying. Okay, he turned it into like a almost like a science. He's the one responsible for really very in-depth study, scientific study on bullying. And so you can Google Dan Olweyus, and you're going to find there's so many articles he has written about bullying and effective bully prevention programs. This is how he defines bullying. It's a pattern of repeated aggressive behavior with negative intent directed from one child to another where there is a power imbalance. Okay? This is important because as we are going to see later in the strategies, then it becomes clearer. So, the students many times will deny, "Sir, hindi naman ako bully ah. Ganyan lang kami talaga magtawagan. Ganyan ko lang siya talaga tinatawag. Hoy, pandak, halika nga dito. Hoy, pangit, kuwanan mo nga ako doon ng eraser." Ganyan lang kami, sir, talaga magtawagan, sasabihin ng mga estudyante. Well, okay, maybe the first thing you need to do is make them know what bullying looks like and what bullying sounds like. Maybe you need a poster like this hanging on every classroom wall that this is how bullying looks like and this is how bullying sounds like. And then around it are what therefore can you do to prevent bullying? Lend a helping hand. Use steps to control your anger. Use your head to think. Walk away from trouble, etc. Okay? And then bullying looks like ignoring, fighting, hitting, shoving, slapping, kicking, punching, finger gestures, spitting, pushing, excluding. They all look like bullying. That's how bullying looks like. And then they sound like put downs, nasty statements, name calling, blaming, sarcasm, intimidating, taunting, threatening, bossing, rumors, saying hurtful things. Immediately, my dear fellow teachers, what I need to let you know is, as we have always been repeating in our seminars on character formation, the only effective way to teach character is to do the example of our life. May we teachers not be an example of bullying, of bullying. of name calling, of put downs, of sarcasm, avoid sarcasm, of intimidating, of threatening, of bossing, of rumors and saying hurtful things. We will be able to teach students to reject bullying if we ourselves show them that we reject all these looks of bullying and sounds of bullying. So, but maybe this is the first step. We need to let the students recognize, know. Okay, so sabi ko strategies. Well, immediately I want to share with you Dr. Olweyu's 4 conditions to bully-proof your classroom or your school. 4 conditions. You want your school to be zero bully zone or kindness zone? Well, number 1, there should be warm, positive interest and adult involvement. Adults, all, including the ladies in the cafeteria, the parents, the teachers, all should be involved with our positive, warm interest. Number 2, malinaw sa ating handbook, sa ating policies, in-announce sa class orientation, in-announce ng class advisor, the firm limits to unacceptable behavior, that there are consequences. Number 3, consistent, non-hostile, fair discipline. And well, I'm going to talk about moral discipline later on. Character formation, disciplining later on. Number 4, modeling. And that's why I mentioned it already. You want the most effective strategy to prevent bullying in your school? My dear fellow teachers, be the epitome of kindness. Be the example of what it means to be someone who rejects bullying, who does not accept bullying, who replaces bullying with kindness. Okay. In order to reduce bullying, it is important to change the climate of the school, and the social norms regarding bullying. And this requires the efforts of everyone in the school environment: teachers, administrators, school nurses, non-teaching staff like bus drivers, custodians, cafeteria workers, school librarians, parents, and students. So, if we are to succeed in this, we've got to get everyone on board. Now, I have heard this repeated by some officers. Some administrators will say, bullying, wala yan, that's just part of life. Everybody just goes through that stage. It's just a reality of life. When an adult says that, when an administrator says that, you can be sure there is high level of bullying that exists there. So, it's not true. It's just a part of life. It is just a natural, normal part of the cycle. No. Your school can be a school of character, can be a kindness zone, can be a haven for your students. Not a single one of them is afraid to come to school. Not a single parent is afraid for their child. It can be done. Let me get straight into strategies. Here is one strategy, and this is from Dr. Hal Urban, the author of Lessons from the Classroom, 20 Things Good Teachers Do. I talked about him also yesterday in the presentation. His first strategy is, teachers, please make sure you teach manners inside the classroom and you talk about the golden rule. Di ba pagka-start ng school year, ganun ang ginagawa ng class advisors, di ba? That was the topic of the talk yesterday, class advisory. And most of the time, in many schools, they spend the first day reviewing school policies, school procedures, school rules. If there is only one rule that you're going to give your class, your students, your school, it can be this, the golden rule, and everything else will follow. It's enough to say, class, I only have one rule in my class, and that is the golden rule. Do not do unto others what you would not want others do unto you. Or the positive of it, do unto others what you would want others do unto you. Teach them the golden rule. Do not think that it is passe, that it is a throwback to the Middle Ages, that it is outdated. It is not. It continues to be possibly the most important rule the students should know. And then teach manners. Uh, Dapat umuulan sa classroom mo, kahit sa Zoom room mo, kahit sa Google Meet classroom mo. Dapat umuulan ang thank you, please, sorry, excuse me, which are all part of manners. Okay, class, please submit the assignment on time. Don't fail. Uh, okay, class, thank you very much for submitting on time. Everyone submitted on time. Let's all give ourselves a virtual round of applause. Dapat umuulan ang thank you, please, sorry, excuse me. I give my word. Those things are part of manners. Because if manners were an animal, it would be extinct. It would be near extinct now. Many young people are losing manners. Sabi ng research, not from me, sabi ng research, the young people today are not as kind, are not as courteous as when you and I were young. I mean, I remember when I was young, when the teacher asks, John, sit down. Abay, uupo ng tahimik si John. Ngayon, hindi. Meron kang, John, sit down. Tapos titingin sa'yo ng masama si John. Parang siya pa ang galit. Nakakunot ang noo. Minsan bubulong pa. Dami-dami ditong nakatayo. Ako lang papaupuin. Pinag-iinitan lang. May ganyan tayo. You have students like that. And sometimes you get so upset. And if you don't have classroom management, which is the topic on Thursday, if you don't have classroom management, magagalit ka. Are you challenging my authority? And there goes the bully prevention. And there goes the kindness zone. And there goes character formation. So we need to know how to go about doing this. Because, sabi ni Hal Urban, what you accept, you teach. And what you permit, you are promoting. If you hear students teasing each other and you don't do anything about it, it's like you are accepting it, you're actually teaching it. If you hear a student, for example, utter a foul language, a bad word, a profanity, yung malutong na mura, and you don't do anything about it, you don't comment on it, you don't say anything about it, you are permitting it, and effectively you are promoting it. Sabi ni Hal Urban, part of teaching manners is to call the attention of the student. You know, I have a strategy. I've shared this in the January seminars to the participants. I have a strategy. If I hear a student utter a profane word, mura, harsh words, or insulting words, I call the name, John, and then I point to the mouth. I don't need to say anything. I just call the name, John, and then I point to the mouth, which says everything. Watch your mouth, watch your language. I don't accept that here. But I don't have to say all those things. I just have to call the name without getting angry and then point to the mouth. And they know it. That's my strategy to make sure that they know I do not permit profanity. I do not accept, and therefore I'm not teaching it and I'm not promoting it. But you know what happens nowadays? What I notice among young people, when you call John and then you point to the mouth, John will look at you and then will say, ano, bakit? Anong ginawa ko? And then, in other words, John uttered a profanity, a bad word, a foul language, and he did not even realize it. It has become so much a part of his system. It is almost like a part of him na he reacts with those profane words. We have a lot of work to do, my dear fellow teachers. If we are to create a kind and caring classroom, if we are to prevent bullying. Oo nga naman, kasi makikinig sila ng Spotify, top 10 songs in Spotify. Most of them nakasulat explicit lyrics. Yan, yung mga rap songs, no? Halimbawa, where or movies, Netflix movies that they watch. In 1.5 hours, they're going to hear 120 F words, profane words, S words, curse words, 120 in a short span of 100. Some movies even more, 2 per minute. So 90 minutes ang movies, 180 bad words ang maririnig nila. It is becoming a part of their system, and we've got to go against the grain. We've got to counter it. So let's teach courtesy. That is another strategy to fight against, to stop bullying from nipping it in the bud. Sabi ni Molly Angelini, a 5th grade teacher, I teach my kids to greet and thank the cafeteria workers. The cafeteria staff say they always know when kids from my class are coming through. My students have a very high level of self-respect because of the respect they show to other people. It becomes a part of them. It becomes a part of their system. But if we don't do this, the opposite is what happens. The foul language they hear in the TV shows, in the movies, in the rap songs, those are the things that become a part of their system. Here's another strategy, effective classroom management. That's why we're going to spend 2 hours on Thursday talking about Harry Wong's spectacular, effective strategies to manage a class. You can get your students to do what you want them to do without you having to resort to shouting, screaming, and yelling. There is a way of being able to do it. There is a way of getting students to sit down without you having to say 20 times, John, sit down. Joanna, sit down. Alfred, sit up straight. Andy, look here. Stop staring outside the window. You can get rid of those things. And there are strategies to be able to do that. If there is bullying inside the classroom, one of the first things administrators should do is to check how are the teachers managing the class. Maybe they don't know how to manage the class. They discipline the class. They don't manage. Those are two different things. So, you want bullying to be prevented? Make sure teachers are well equipped, well trained to manage the class effectively. Here's another strategy from that book of Dr. Borba. Be a buddy, not a bully shirt. If, for example, a student has been proven to stand up to bullies and defend the victims of bullying, they have become, they have gained the reputation of being the defenders of victims. Okay, maybe it's time to give him a shirt that announces to the world, this guy has proven himself to be a buddy, not a bully. And now he is championing that advocacy, getting other people, other bystanders there. Come on, let us all be a buddy, not a bully. And we can do a shirt campaign. Shirt. Students can design it, and the students who are allowed to wear that on certain days of the week are only those who have proven themselves to be a buddy and not a bully. Or to even have that kind of celebration. This week, we're going to have Stand Up to Bullying Week. Classes are going to compete with each other, trying to come out with the best posters to stop bullying, to declare the school to be a kindness zone, to speak up. we will have a guest speaker, a graduate of our school, who will share with the class how he or she suffered because of bullying and why bullying should be rejected by everyone. So, um, 1 week where you drive home the point to everyone: bullying has no place in our school. We will stand up to bullies in um, exciting activities, in meaningful activities, in colorful, surprising activities. There are many ways. I mean, if you make the students own this, coming up with projects to declare a stand up to bully week, you'll be surprised at their creativity and how many ideas they actually have in mind to make sure there is a clear declaration of war against bullying. Sabi nila, ang problema of bullying is among the students. Let therefore the students solve the problem of bullying. And one school, what they did is to have a committee of students. If there is any report of bullying that is received by the principal, by the class advisor, then they convene this committee of students who will look into that reported case of bullying and let them come up with a resolution. How will we address this problem? What will be the consequence? What is the appropriate, fair, proper consequence that can be given as a sanction to that person, which is not only about detention, suspension, expulsion. I'm going to talk later about many very different ways that you can give consequences to the bully, a consequence of the wrong that they did, that still can be formative rather than just simply disciplinary or sanction or punishment. Students, make them own this task of looking into bullying cases. Here's another one, kasi sabi ng 6 essential R's, you have to replace. It's not enough to reject. It's not enough to know how to respond. It's not enough to just know how to report. You have to replace bullying with the opposite. And what is the opposite of bullying? Service, kindness, acts of kindness, a lot of kind acts. So, get the students to be busy celebrating service, serving the poor, serving the needy, serving the orphanage, serving the abandoned old aged in a home for the aged, the sick, the people who are in the peripheries, as Pope Francis would call them. How the students can reach out to those people, especially those who are needy. And then, so make the students plan out, propose, implement, raise funds if they need to, and then actually do. So for, let's say, one whole day, that is the only thing that the classes will be doing. This class has chosen to go to Home for the Aged and spend the day there, sharing their time and money and effort and love and even resources with those poor, abandoned old people. This class has decided to go to Tahanang Walang Hagdan. Very nice. This class has decided to spend half a day or whole day there in the poor community to do an outreach. So let them come up with their plans, let them come up with their proposals, with their budgeting and all these skills that will come into play in organizing an activity. And then, after everyone is done with that activity, give recognition to the most creative outreach, to the outreach with the greatest impact, to the one that is best organized. Maybe because they even ended up profiting from the activity. They were able to solicit so much. They even have enough funds for another outreach activity in December or later on before graduation. And then declare one to be the outreach of the year. A school is a school of character when students are competing with each other in doing good. When you have classes trying to outdo each other in being of service to people, to community, to especially the needy, that is a school of character. Here's another strategy from that book of Dr. Borba, peer mentoring for conflict resolution. Train some of the older students you have in your school to be capable of mentoring dalawang students na nag-aaway. Let's call on that senior student, that fourth year junior high student to peer mentor these two. Talk to each one by one at a time, in order to resolve their conflict, so that they don't have to come to school with anger, with hatred, with revenge in mind, and then it's very helpful for the persons being mentored, as well as for the person mentoring. That is a great preparation for him for professional life, for college life, for later on in life. It's very formative. Peer mentoring for conflict resolution. And then we need to train these young people as part of their preparation to be peer mentors. Bibliotherapy, believe me, the literature is very powerful in equipping students, young people, to cope with adversities, to cope with difficulties, to cope with trials in life. Uh, the 27-page manual of Dr. Borba contains a long list of books. Bibliotherapy for the victim, bibliotherapy for the victims, a long list of books that you can give to, for example, grade school students who feel they are victims of bullying, so that they are empowered, so that their eyes are open to the reality na, teka muna, I should know how to stand up for my rights. Bibliotherapy for the victims. And then here's another strategy. Get the students involved in welcoming new students, new kids, new parents even. It's a wonderful school when you have the fourth year students or the grade 12 students, for example, spending one whole afternoon with all the grade 7 students in a bonding activity where they will take lunch together. The grade 7 boys and girls will have presentation numbers, and grade 12, grade 11 students will also have their presentation numbers, and they become friends that one afternoon. And now this grade 7 student will come to school knowing that those senior students are his friends, are her friends, that he or she can run to any one of them if they have difficulties, if they have problems, if they have concerns. Okay? So, organizing this welcoming freshmen kind of activities, that is a way of preventing bullying. In some schools that don't do this, it's the older students who bully the young students, and it's tragic. It's sad. I mean, where is communityness there? Where is alma mater there? Where is my school, pride in my school of belonging to one family, one big happy family? It's a fantastic strategy, and I hope you, if you have not been doing it yet, implement it. In all the schools I taught in Southridge School for 15 years. As I mentioned earlier, I started a school in Iloilo, Westbridge School. I taught in Northfield School in Quezon City. I taught in Bannister Academy in Libis, Quezon City. And then I also taught in the University of Asia in the Pacific. In all these schools I taught in, I always believed in mobilizing the students themselves to creating a welcoming atmosphere, to creating a community spirit, being thinking with a school, being united with a school. These are all very important strategies, and I've seen them. I've seen the strategy work, and I hope you will have something, if you don't have anything yet like this, of the older students welcoming the younger students. For example, on the first day of the school year, in all the schools I've taught in, on day one, the older students are going to be at the gate, at the entrance, welcoming, especially the new students who come in, accompanying them to look for their school, their classrooms, to look for their sections. In all the schools I've taught in, I always made sure there was something like that. The older students taking care of the younger ones. Character-based consequence. I mentioned earlier, it's not just about going around punishing. I saw you bullying that person, suspended. I saw you teasing that person, detained. That detention, that suspension is not going to cure the disease of bullying. Character-based consequence. John, based on the investigation, it has been proven you have bullied this classmate of yours. A consequence of that is you have to propose a kindness campaign. You have to come up with a proposal that will push courtesy campaign, random act of kindness campaign, whatever it is, but spend time thinking about it to counter the offense that you have committed. That's character-based consequence. We are trying to form him in precisely that weakness, that vice, that defect that he displayed. And in that way, we are actually forming his character, character-based consequence. So we have to be creative about these things. And as I said, if you ask the students to be the ones to think of what can be possible consequences for proven cases of bullying, proven cases of teasing and isolating a classmate, wow, they can come up with fantastic ideas. Do not underestimate the power, the creative imagination of the young people when it comes to these things. Okay, well, I have been talking for 1 hour. We are just halfway through. I still have many, many strategies to share with you, but I think some of you might need to do a little bit of washroom break. You need to get water. So this is what I'll do. I'm going to share a few videos, just 3, 4 minutes of them, as a way of giving you a little break. Those of you who need to go to the washroom, take advantage. You can go while the rest of us can just enjoy these 2 or 3 videos. Okay, welcome back. We're back. As I said, we're just halfway. We still have a lot of other strategies to discuss. Still talking about character-based consequences. Here are the 4 R's of moral discipline, according to Michelle Borba. Okay, so this is based on the idea that it's not enough to just go around punishing people. That sometimes doesn't even solve the problem. That doesn't make the students change their mindset, change their attitude. So here are the 4 R's of moral discipline. First, respond calmly and assess the child's intention. When you notice teasing happening, bullying happening, unkind act being done by another person, respond calmly. No need to shout, scream, or yell. That's what we will um, debunk on Thursday, that there is just absolutely no need to resort to shouting, screaming, and yelling in managing a class. Respond calmly. And then review with a student why the behavior is wrong. For all you know, the person is not aware. He or she is just not aware that what he or she did offended another person, was hurtful to another person. So review why the behavior is wrong and make the person reflect on the behavior's effect. One way of doing this is asking him or her, if it was done to you, how would you have felt? How would you feel if you were the one called names? If the whole class laughs because you were called that, how would you feel? That's a way of reflecting, making them reflect. And then, so what do you think should we do to right the wrong by encouraging the child to make a reparation? So do you think you should apologize? Do you think it will help if you go to the person and tell that person that you did not intend to do that? You didn't just really, you didn't know that it was that offensive to the other person. Right the wrong by encouraging the child to make a reparation. So for Dr. Borba, those are the 4 R's of moral discipline. More than just having a long list of teasing equivalent, 2 hours detention, bullying, Saturday detention, calling somebody names, uh, principal's office. Those may not really, and those will not solve the problem. Okay, let's continue on with many more strategies. I attended one conference in Washington, D.C. once, where 3 days of strategies for character formation. And then one of the speakers on the last day said, you know, you have heard so many strategies discussed during these days. If there is only one and only one that you are going to implement when you get home, please make sure it is this: class meetings. Hold class meetings. Because holding class meetings is one way of empowering the students, getting them to have a voice, getting the students to own whatever problem there is inside the classroom, whether it's academic or bullying or camaraderie, absence of camaraderie or unity, the class is disunited, or whatever problem it is. Class meeting can address those things. So, it is our way of getting the students involved. You remember, sabi ko at the start, tatlong sikreto for success formula. Get the staff involved, get the parents involved. Now, let us get the students involved. So far, I've given also already a number of strategies that will get the students involved. So here are 20 kinds of class meetings. When I say meeting kasi, some people, some teachers may have the idea, so paano kami magmi-meeting, wala namang pag-uusapan, wala namang activities coming up. Tapos na yung family day, tapos na yung Christmas celebration. Hindi, I'm going to show you 20 different kinds of class meetings, which will make you realize, ay, oo nga, even every day, we need to have class meetings. Okay, so here are some of them. First kind of meeting, good news meeting. Okay, class, today, this is a good news meeting. Just share whatever good news you have from your house, from school, from your subjects, from your class, from your classmates, whatever it is, good news. Sa umpisa siguro may hirapan sila mag-isip until you start putting in. Like, did you have a quiz recently where you did very well? Ay, oo nga, sir. We had good performance in the recent exam in math. Everybody passed. Everybody studied hard. Very good. What else? At home. And then, according to Dr. Thomas Licona, the one who put these things together, there comes a point when students start sharing even intimate news. Like a student will say, I'd like to share, my dad left us a few months ago, and yesterday he came back. And then everybody shares with the joy of that student. Good news meeting. Just getting everybody to contribute in, share. Okay? This time, everyone will have to speak. You will all be given 10 seconds each. Share a good news. Okay? First, let me give you 1 minute to think about a good news that you want to share with a class, whether it is a good news from home, from your school, from a subject, and then everyone is given the chance to speak up and share a good news. Circle whip is something similar where you will give the class, how do you call that? Like a statement that they're going to complete, a leading statement that they're going to complete. Here are some examples. Something I like about this class. Okay, class, today this is our whip circle. Everyone will be given a chance to complete the statement, the sentence. Okay, be ready so that when I call you, you will be ready to complete the statement. Something I like about this class, and then everybody gets to contribute. No objection, no laughter, no teasing. Just get to share deep inside you what you really like about the class. Or today, in our meeting, the circle whip is this: something I think would make our class better. In other words, what can we do? What is one thing I want to propose so that we make our class better? A decision I think we should, etc. The important thing here is you are giving everybody a voice, a chance to speak up, whether it is just sharing a good news, suggesting a brilliant idea. No, okay. So third kind of class meeting, appreciation time. Today we're going to spend the meeting just expressing appreciation, whether it is towards one classmate, towards the whole class, towards a teacher, towards a parent, towards your sister, your brother. Everybody is going to be given a chance to express an appreciation. Today, our meeting is compliment. To compliment someone, you can say it anonymously if you don't like to reveal it, no problem. But to compliment somebody. Today, let's set goals for our academics for this year, for our participation in extracurricular activities this year, etc. And the list goes on, 20 different kinds of class meetings. So please don't say, what is there to meet about? Of course, there are many things to meet about. The important thing is you are giving the students a voice. And yes, even online classes, online meetings, this can be done. Rule evaluating meeting, stage setting meeting, feedback and evaluation, reflections on learning, and then make the house rules clear, like no put downs. What do you do if you disagree with somebody's contribution? How do you go about expressing a disagreement about, and that way you're actually training these young people for adult life, which is what we will be doing. I mean, what we adults have been doing in our dealings with other people. We have to know how to express disagreements. We have to know how to express disapproval, for example, of certain ideas. Going on with a list, student presentation. Okay, we'll have student presentation, class numbers this to this. For Friday next week, you will be given 3 minutes to present something, whether it is the best project you've done so far, to talk about it, to show us pictures of that, to show us the actual thing. To so don't worry, you will have your chance. Everyone will get to have the chance to present to the class something you're proud of, something you are very excited about, something you're looking forward to, etc. Problem solving meeting. Class, I have received reports that more and more of you are doing poorly in quizzes. There's a problem. Let's meet about it. Let's discuss what is really the problem. Is it the subject? Is it the pacing of the teacher? Is it the lack of textbook materials? What is it? So let's meet about it in our next class meeting. You are making the students find solutions to their problems because you're involving them in the problem solving endeavor, because it's their problem and they have to be the ones given the chance to find solutions. They will not just be, they're not just going to be fed, spoon fed. Okay, it's academic issues, classroom improvement meeting, follow-up meeting to a past meeting that we had, and then more planning, concept meeting, sticky situations, suggestion box, class business. We have a suggestion box in the class. On Tuesday mornings, we will open the box and see if there are suggestions, and we will meet about it. What can we do? What do you think about the suggestion, etc.? And then meeting on meeting, sir, this let's plan out so that we can do all these 20 different types of meetings and accomplish a lot of things. Fantastic. Giving the students participation, a voice, and then making them part of the solution, not just the problem. Cooperative learning, all of you, I'm sure, are already doing this. My dear fellow teachers, this is not the same as group work, okay? I've seen it tragically happen in some schools. The teacher will give a group work. 5 ang members. Isa lang ang magtatrabaho. Lahat sila pare-parehong grades ang makukuha. That's unfair, that's unjust, that is not cooperative learning. Yung isang gumawa lang ng project, yun lang ang natuto. The 4 others, nakisabay, nakiangkas, wala. They didn't even learn. So then, it's very important that we know how to do cooperative learning effectively. Okay? Cooperative learning. Bakit 5 ang members ng group mo? Kasi yung isa magre-research. Yung isa susulat niya. Yung isa gagawa ng PowerPoint. Yung isa magpe-present. Tapos yung isa kailangan siya ang sasagot ng mga questions. Very nice. Pinag-isipan kung bakit may 5 members. Kasi each one of them will have very clear, distinct role to play. And they are all cooperatively learning. And they're all working. Hindi lang yung isa. Nangyayari yan, di ba? In some schools. 5 ang members. Ang nagtatrabaho lang yung tumatakbo for valedictorian. Kasi siya ang conscious sa grades. Tapos yung 4, gusto nilang maging part of the group ng valedictorian kasi alam nila siya ang gagawa ng lahat ng trabaho. That's not cooperative learning. That's a travesty. And it's group work that is unjust and unfair. Cooperative learning is everybody actually learning and cooperating to be able to achieve a specific, clear goal. Okay, similar to the older students welcoming the younger students, we have to have freshman transition program. Older students being assigned to mentor freshmen entering the high school level only for the first time. May mentality pa ng grade school. Kailangan nila ng more mature older students to mentor them. Okay, so let's assign 1:1. A senior student assigned to take care of a younger student entering freshman. And that freshman knows, pwede niyang takbuhan to ask for advice, to ask for help, to ask for support, to ask for whatever dun sa mentor assigned to him or to her. It's fantastic. It's a school of character when you have older people, older students helping, supporting younger ones. What a fantastic community that is. It does not only kill bullying, it replaces bullying with kindness and camaraderie and friendship and unity. And okay, yon is 1:1. Ito ngayon is class to one class. Grade 12, section A is assigned to be the body class of grade 7, section A. And they can take lunch together once a week or twice a week. And the older ones can be discussing, yung teacher na yan, this is the secret to how to get good grades in her class. Very particular siya about yan. So, because they've been through the class of that teacher, they know what the younger ones need to know, need to hear about that teacher. Sasabihin nila, yung teacher na yan, kala nyo masungit? Hindi. In fact, she is very, very kind. You just have to know how to go to her outside of class hours, not in front of the class na you make her stop her teaching. Ayaw niya yung na-delay ang kanyang lecture. So, you have to talk to her after dismissal. So, things like that, from a body class to a younger class, and that again creates a fantastic kind of atmosphere in school. Here, sabi natin, replace bullying. You know, you can come up with a handout like this and spend 1 week challenge kindness week. Kindness challenge week. And everyone is invited to take part. Everyone is going to be given this checklist. And at the end of the week, they will show or they will submit if they have been able to do as many of these challenges. So simply, for example, like smiling at 25 people, slipping a nice note in your friend's backpack, complimenting 5 people, picking up 10 pieces of trash on campus, making a new friend, telling a joke and making someone laugh, being kind to yourself and eating a healthy snack. So these challenges are good acts, good deeds. Some of them are random acts of kindness. Can you imagine a school with 500 students trying to do as many of these challenges? Let's move on to the other part. Helping a younger student, giving a kind handshake to greet a classmate, recycling your trash, hugging your friend, picking up trash outside your school, cut out 10 hearts and give them to friends, entertain someone with a happy dance, make a kind poster, saying good morning to 15 people. Let's take a look at some others. Sitting with a new group of kids at lunch, reading a book to a younger child, giving an apple or a note to your teacher, stepping up for someone in need, making and displaying a kindness matters sign, carry your friend's books, etc. And then the last set here, there, writing a thank you note on a band-aid for the nurse, listening to your teacher the first time, whisper thank you to the librarian, helping someone up if they fall down, lending a pencil to a friend, learning to say hello All these are fantastic acts that you have 500 students trying to do as many of these in that 1 week of kindness challenge or challenge kindness week. And wow, you create a totally different atmosphere in school where obviously bullying is not welcome, is not allowed. You are replacing bullying with all these wonderful kind deeds, kind acts. Here's another strategy from Dr. Borba, anonymous compliments. You have a journal, for example, at the teacher's table, or this can be done even online. Students writing a compliment to one student or another. They can name the student. I'd like to compliment that person for being like this, being so kind, so like this. And then they email it to the teacher with the instruction that they will not mention the name of the one who sent the compliment. And then on Friday, before dismissal, the teacher will say, okay, why don't we read compliments? And then you now have the teacher rattling or going over compliments being said to one student or another. Imagine the mindset of the students ending the week that way. They look forward to the next meeting, to the next Monday's class. They look forward to being again with that class where students acknowledge their good deeds. They were complimented, even anonymously, but they feel good about, oh, I didn't realize it matters to others. I didn't realize it means a lot to other people. I will do more good things like that. Anonymous compliments, that's a good way of replacing bullying, put down, teasing. Okay, this is another way of doing the anonymous compliments. Each student draws the name of a class. So everyone is assigned to write an anonymous compliment for another student. By the week's end, the student writes an anonymous compliment about that person, yung nabunot nila, on a strip of paper, shows it to the teacher, and puts it in the compliment box. And then the teacher will post all those comments on the bulletin board. Or if done online, as I said, it can be sent as an email to the teacher. Or you can come up with a totally new, how do you call this, page, Facebook page, or even email address where students will send their anonymous compliments. Good Deeds Journal. Well, we will be beginning to wrap up. I don't think I'll be able to finish all the strategies, but don't worry. This whole presentation, including those that I will not be able to cover, are going to be available, downloadable from the Facebook page that I already mentioned earlier. I'm going to give it again for the sake of those who were not with us at the start of this presentation. This PowerPoint presentation will be available for downloading for you so that you can give the seminar to your co-teachers, your friends, your teachers there in your city, in your province. But I don't mind if you use this and even charge them for the seminar you will give them. My only concern is we've got to get everybody thinking character, pushing character, fighting bullying, preventing bullying in all places. Good Deeds Journal is a fantastic way of getting the students to be conscious of being able to do good deeds. So at the end of each day, you tell them, write down on your journal 5 good things you were able to do today. Some students will realize, aba, I hardly did any good. Halos wala akong nagawang mabuti. Babawi ako bukas. That's consciousness. It works. It makes them realize that, ay oo nga, I ended the day having done almost nothing, no good. I mean, but you will have to make them realize, no, you attended a class. That by itself is good. You could have invented something to excuse yourself from the class, not to show up for the class. You did the house chore, you remember? You fix your bed, you remember? And then they realize, ay, oo nga, I'm not that bad after all. Tomorrow I will be more conscious about those good deeds. Good deeds journal is a very good way to make them more conscious about doing good. Kanina, bibliotherapy for the victim. Okay? Ito ngayon, to replace bullying, teaching empathy through literature. I mean, there are many fantastic books, literature books, stories, short stories, novels that will teach them about kindness, goodness, empathy. Again, in that manual of Dr. Borba, she has a long list of books you can recommend for students to read, or you yourselves. I'm sure you've come across a reading material, an article, a news report that made you feel good, that made you realize the world is still a good place to live. I mean, there's still goodness in the world. That's teaching empathy through literature. Okay, I think this will be the last that I will share with you. Compact for excellence. Even online, you can do this. Make the students pledge that they will reject bullying and that they will replace bullying with kindness. Make them recite that pledge. Well, one is make them write a pledge um, that will not take more than 12, 15 seconds to recite. And then start every day, aside from the prayer. If you are a Catholic school, you start the day with a prayer. And then you make them recite this pledge, Compact for Excellence. Students Pledge. Here are some samples of pledges against bullying. We will not bully other students. We will try to help students who are bullied. We will include students who might be left out. That's it. It didn't take more than 10 seconds. But if students memorize this and are made to repeat this every day, every time there is a temptation to bully, to tease, to hurt another student, maalala nila, teka muna, I made a pledge. Or in the morning, may isip nila sa umaga, I cannot be an instrument of bullying. No, I cannot be bullying others. I recite this pledge every day. I mean, I raise my hand and say, I will not. Here's a longer version. Bullying is any physical act, verbal comment, gesture, facial expression, or action that would intentionally hurt someone on the inside or outside. It also means leaving people out. I agree to not bully other students. I will try to help students who are bullied, and I will include students who are left out. It's longer, but it's also effective because then every morning they are made to remember what bullying means, what bullying is. And they are made to remember that I reject bullying. I don't accept it. I will not be an instrument of bullying. Here's another one, longer, but again, it can have its own purpose. As part of my school, I will pledge to be a part of the solution, eliminate taunting from my own behavior, encourage others to do the same, do my part to make my community safe, set the example of a caring individual, eliminate profanity toward others, not let my words or actions hurt others, and if others won't become a part of the solution, I will. Can you imagine students able to memorize this and repeat it every day to start the day? You stand a better chance of succeeding in preventing bullying and making sure that the school, the school is a safe place for everyone. And no parent will ever have to be afraid for their child being bullied. No parent will ever have to be afraid that their daughter is being harassed, being hurt, being harmed. This is the fruit of bully prevention when the school becomes really a kindness zone, a safe place for everyone. Okay, Three things in human life are important. The first is to be kind. The second is to be kind. And the third is to be kind. Henry James. There is no place in our school, in our home, in our community for bullying. I didn't get to discuss with you the the 9 habits of empathy, but it's in the slides that you can download. Just give me a bit of time to upload it in the Facebook page. And then I also didn't get to discuss the 8 strategies or 8 tips from Dr. Michelle Borba on how to develop empathy among the kids, because empathy is the possibly the complete opposite of bullying. If bullying is putting down, empathy is feeling for other people, which is in a crisis. That is where the young people today are failing in because of the kind of environment they find themselves in. Okay, well, congratulations, you deserve a certificate for finishing this course today. And like what I announced yesterday, please uh, email, okay? Because not all the participants are interested in getting the certificate. So if you are interested to get a certificate because you need to use it and you can use it for your CPD units, license renewal for your teaching permit, please email catalystpds@gmail.com with your name as you want it to appear in the certificate and the title of the seminar. Okay? This is important because, like in a while, when I check my email, I may still find some people from yesterday's seminar requesting a certificate. So please don't just send an email saying, can I request for a certificate? I mean, you have to indicate which certificate you are requesting. That's why you need to put the title of the seminar and then uh, the name as you want it to appear in the certificate. Okay. And then, as I have been repeating, the PowerPoint presentation as well as the video of this talk that I just am about to finish, because I noticed some of you disappear from the screen, come back. I don't blame you. Wi-Fi can be problematic in some places, and I may my signal might start getting weak, and you missed some of the things I said. Don't worry, this whole thing is being recorded, and I'm going to post the link to the YouTube video of this presentation so that you can catch up on whatever you may have missed dahil nawala kayo sa yung wifi nyo, humina ang signal or whatever, okay? Um, yeah. So, and there are handouts, fantastic handouts that you can download from there. When you join the group, wait to be admitted. Once you are inside, once you are part of the group, scroll down kasi ang daming mga materials sa baba. Okay? Scroll down and download whatever you want there. For example, the 270-page book entitled Smart and Good High Schools, strategies from all over the world of smart and good high schools that you can download from there. Okay, as well as whatever other materials you may find helpful, useful. Okay, and so that's the Facebook page. You can search for better teachers, better schools, or you can type in this address, facebook.com/groups/schools of character. It will lead you to the web page. Okay, and in case you are not registered for tomorrow and Thursday, Friday, I still invite you. You might be interested to join us. Tomorrow, I will give strategies and lots of strategies on character formation. And then on Thursday, strategies and lots of strategies on classroom management, how to get the students to do what you want them to do without you having to resort to shouting, screaming, and yelling. And then on Friday, this is not just for administrators. You can also join us 11 principles of accreditation if you want your school to be a school of character. Fantastic, great. So um, I want to invite you already on April 12 and 13. Dr. Michelle Borba is going to give an online session like this on um, how to raise mentally healthy kids in troubled times. That's the title. 2 days that she's going to speak. That's from 10 a.m. to 12 noon of April, um, I think April 12 and 13. I'm going to post the announcements in the Facebook page, and I hope you can take advantage of it. It's very cheap, almost as cheap as these local seminars we are organizing, because the topic is so urgent, so important. We want many teachers to be able to join it. Very good. Okay, well, I've reached the point where I need to do a certain picture taking, class picture taking. Okay. If you have questions or remarks that you want to give, please email catalystpds@gmail.com. Um, I can, I might be able to discuss them or answer them in the coming day seminars. Or if you want an answer, I will also reply to the email. There are 3 pages of us here, so I need you to give me your biggest, widest, fakest smile uh, as I take a screenshot of page 1 now. Smile. Great. Now I go to page 2. You can turn on your screen. Please give your, kunyari yung talagang ang saya-saya natin sa seminar, okay? 1, 2, 3, smile. And finally, page 3. Let's take a screenshot of everyone in 3, 2, and smile. 1. Fantastic. Even the screenshots are going to be there in the Facebook page. Well, okay, we've come to the end of this session. You can start emailing to request for your certificate. You can go to Facebook now and ask to be admitted to the group and freely download whatever you want to download from there. Just give me a bit of time. I will upload this PowerPoint presentation. Maybe in the next 30 minutes or so, you can come back to get it there. Meanwhile, please stay safe, stay healthy, don't get sick. Um, Steer clear of COVID, and good luck in the remaining months of your school year, and hope to see you in our other future seminars. Thank you. I really thank you very much for going out of your way and joining us, and because it means you are concerned about the character. Okay, I will end this meeting in 5. Thank you also to all of you who are sending messages here of thank you. I should be the one thanking you. Thank you. I hope you learned a lot. 5, 4, 3. I'm going to end the meeting. 2, and see you around.
Thank you,
Stay
sir.
safe.
Bye-bye
God
po.
bless. Goodbye. 1.